Welcome to Mental Mettle Coaching, where our mission is to help you learn to thrive in the face of adversity, not just survive it. We are passionate about empowering you to live, play, and work with a resilient and spirited mindset. Hi, I'm Matt Toman. I'm an ICF professional coach and keynote speaker. My background as an athlete, basketball coach, teacher, and school administrator has equipped me with the insights that resonate deeply with the schools, teams, athletes, and coaches I work with. However, it's my personal journey through anxiety, cancer, and an ischemic stroke in 2020 that truly brings authenticity to my presentations. While learning to speak and write again, I also pursued and earned my ICF coaching certification. Now the practices I embrace are more than theoretical concepts. They're a way of life. Developing a positive mindset is within reach for all, but it requires self-awareness and the repetition of intentional activities. At Mental Mettle Coaching, we'll guide you, your staff, and your students on this transformative journey. Together, let's forge your mettle. This is the Mental Mettle Podcast, where we explore how to forge mental toughness and resilience in every aspect of life. Welcome, I'm your host, Coach Matt Toman. I'm an ICF certified professional coach with a background as a teacher, basketball coach, and athletic director. But my journey took a dramatic turn in 2020 when I survived both cancer and a stroke. Those experiences shaped my mission to help others grow stronger in every facet of life. Today, I work with athletes, coaches, educators, and anyone who believes that positive mental health is both achievable and a personal responsibility. This podcast is dedicated to helping listeners develop a positive version of toughness, one rooted in resilience, focus, and growth. Whether you're looking to excel on the field, in the classroom, or in life, this is your space to learn, grow, and take action. Join me on this journey, and together, let's forge your mettle. Let's go, metalheads. It's Coach Tillman here at the Mental Mettle Podcast. I'm going to start today's episode. It's going to sound like a humble brag, but I promise you it's not. I don't break every guest into one or two categories, but for this conversation, I'm going to say that for the most part, I'm over 150 episodes, 3 years in. For the most part, I can outbench most of my guests. Not all. I've had several linemen on the show, including my nephew, Casey Toman, some other ones, JJ G'day, these, some big linemen. They can all outbench me. And I've started to have some more Olympians, throwers. I can just guess that, I had Joe Brown. He's an Olympian discus thrower, and Alex Young as an Olympic shot putter or hammer thrower. That's what he is. And I can just imagine that those guys can outbench me. And that's not bad. I'm 50 years old, and like these guys are prime athletes, and they should be able to outbench me. But you know what? I do my best. I can still throw 2 plates on each side, and I try to bench my weight every once in a while to make sure that I can do it. And that's substantial. I'm a big guy, so I'm okay with it, but I don't worry about, I'm not a power lifter. I don't try to do this, but I would say that, I'm happy with it. I don't walk around saying I can outbench that guy, but it's an important designation to make here, because I know without a doubt that my guest today can outbench me. Now, again, I've had other guests, and that's not big a deal. And I don't, try to throw down a gauntlet with any guest I have. But when I consider my guest, a couple things about my guest today and her being able to outbench me, it's interesting. Ashley Dyce was born with spina bifida and was sick constantly as a kid and has had health issues most of her life. She's now not only a woman, but she's also in a wheelchair, which that has to make it harder to be able to, I've seen her bench and strapping her legs down and not being able to, there's no cheating. There's no cheating when she benches. There probably is some cheating when I bench. So to take that and say that the amount that I know recorded in lifts, in Olympic lifts, that she can outbench me easily. It's interesting, and it makes it for a good story, because you'll see in the interview that she's, right now around 280, throwing up 280 and eyeing at 300. She hopes to get that by the end of the year. It is, Ashley is this perfect example of how you choose a lane and you stick with it, and the results you can get from that are just amazing. She saw an ad once, a long time ago, over 10 years ago, for Paralympians. And when that Paralympian idea started growing, and she said, I would like to do that. She didn't know in what. She just said, I want to be a Paralympian, and then did some discus, tried some other things, and then said, I'm going to power lift. Now with Paralympians, that means benching. So she just said, I'm going to be good at bench. And that's what she's worked on. And that's what she's had, all sorts of success in different levels in Paralympic Games and meets. And as you can see, like, she talks about how when she started, how little she could bench. Like, her growth in this is absolutely amazing. And it is all about choosing what I want to be good at, and just having just dogged determination, and saying, I'm going to get better at this, and I'm going to put my effort into, and this is what I'm going to do. And there's such an inspiring lesson there from Ashley Dyce on how sometimes we need to dial in and say, is this what I'm going to do? Is this what I'm going to be good at? And if that's the case, then let's go. Then let's do it. And the growth that you can get when you do that is just amazing. But you have to make that decision, and you have to sacrifice some things and have some perseverance to be able to stick with it. Ashley's just amazing. The fact that she does this, has been able to do this, and just can be so good at that one specific thing, despite all of the things that I talk about, controllables and uncontrollables, all the time. She had a lot of uncontrollables in her life. She had nothing to do with it. It's just the way she was born. And she is just overcomes that and says, I'm not going to let that hold me back. I'm going to find something I'm good at, and that's what I'm going to lean into. And, man, it's just an inspiring story. So enjoy the interview with Paralympian Ashley Dyce. Your athlete probably spends hours working on the specific skill set they need for their sport. And they probably spend hours in the weight room building their body. But how much time do they spend intentionally training their mind? Well, building mindset is the key to bridging the gap between the skills that we see and game execution. Well, Mental Mettle Coaching provides individual programs that can help your athlete develop this third and crucial skill set. All right, welcome back to the Mental Mettle Podcast. And I'm here with my guest today, Powerlift. That's kind of a tongue twister, isn't it? Like, you've probably gotten used to saying that, but it's, as I say it, I'm like, that's harder to say than I thought. So a powerlifter for the Team USA. Ashley Dyce. Ashley, where are you joining me from?
I am from Colton, California, so I'm about an hour east of LA County. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I know you, I follow you on Instagram and everything, so I know you travel quite a bit for the Paralympics and the powerlifting. And I wasn't sure if you were home, but you look nice and settled in an office there, so that's exciting. I know that there's some travel that goes with this, but Ashley, tell me a little bit. I just want to get into the background a little bit on how you got into. I mean, you've been doing what, powerlifting for 10 years now?
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, you're the one that sent that to me, and I'm like, man, you've been rolling at this. So what's the tell me about how you got into this, as much as the story as you think is good here.
Well, I'll start from like the beginning of my Paralympic journey. So I finished college around 2011, and I kind of got into this place of not knowing what to do next. I wasn't able to like find work in the field that I was, had my degree in. So 2012 came around, the Olympics came, and I always watch the Olympics. I'm a big fan of Olympic sports, all sports. And they kept advertising Paralympics, and I'm like, what is this?
You know what? It's funny. I remember those commercials like in
Mhm.
20 like back they would because it was like the first time you started hearing about it, and it was like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So you are literally one of those people that saw the commercial and then became that
Yes.
is cool. That's unbelievable. That's super cool.
So like I went to a disability sports camp later that year, and they had some of the athletes there that just came back from London, right? And they were, they inspired me, and they were telling me, you're not too old, because I thought I was old by then and I couldn't start. And so I actually started in para track and field, and that's where I think I did for 4 years up till the Rio Games. I didn't make the Rio Games, and then I kind of was like, all right, I need to try something else. And it was actually on Facebook. I saw a powerlifting competition, and I was like, I could try this. So it was really just me reaching out to the coaches. I went to a camp, and they were like, you have to be on this team. You're very strong. And it just kind of worked out that way. And I started just progressing as soon as I made the team. And then, all the way fast forward to 2024, made the games. And here we are now going towards 2028. So,
What
yep.
was the event you did first?
Um, wow, that's a good question. um,
I'm just curious what you transitioned from. What was the
yeah.
first events you tried?
Oh,
Because
so it was this thing called Endeavor Games. So they had track and field and powerlifting there. So I was doing both at this. So I kind of did both for a while, for like 2026, 27. I was kind of doing both. So it was at Endeavor Games. I think it's in Oklahoma. It was the first time I did a powerlifting meet.
okay. What I was asking was like when you said you did track and field first.
Mm-hmm.
What was your event in the track and field?
Oh, I did shot put, disc, and javelin.
Okay. Okay. So I mean to go from like a shot put or disc into powerlifting is not all like it's the same, it's the same kind of body style, right? So at least it's a strength event, so not a
Right.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's great. So this is walk me through. I mean, they say you're strong, but I'm curious what sort of so you've been powerlifting now for what's that, like
10 years.
6-7 years, something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I started around 2016, right? So it was
Oh, so
2026. Yeah.
more than that, right?
Yeah.
What sort of like when you dedicate yourself to that kind of discipline to be a
Mm-hmm.
power lifter and you weren't a power lifter before, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What what kind of gains are we talking about? Like you get what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh.
what do you lift now versus lift back then? I'm just
Mhm.
really interested in the
Um,
progress you see.
Definitely, it hasn't been a linear progress or a
Progress
steady,
never
yeah,
is, right?
right.
Yeah.
But I know I'm trying to think when I had my first powerlifting coach. I remember the first day in the gym, I lifted one. I want to say like 145, 145 pounds or something like that.
And what is that bench?
Yeah, and bench.
Is that mostly what you do or all you do? Or
Oh, that's, yeah. So all we do is bench press. Yeah, that's it.
okay. I didn't know what powerlifting meant for
Sorry.
I mean, because it's slightly different, so that's
Right.
okay.
Yeah. So
Um,
para is just bench. Yeah.
so you start at what'd you say, 145?
135, 145. And now I'm kind of around 275,
Come
280,
on.
somewhere in there.
Come on. I mean, that's solid, right? That's
Mhm.
when you were talking about progress. That's
Yeah.
um when you start and you're throwing up, I mean, 145, that's not you're not winning any meat like that, right?
No, no.
What's the I mean, you had to have some pretty good coaching along the way to be like, no, we think you can do this because I mean, that's a long way. That's a huge jump. Like, where's the? where's the coaching and the encouragement you got to say that, no, we think you can do this?
I think most of it came from myself and just that determination to just do things and
Yeah.
want to do things. But definitely I've had great coaches along the way. I had my first trainer was amazing and he was just kind of like, let's go for it. Like, why not? Why not try to lift as much as we can? And then, talk about the mental part of it, getting that on board was like the whole game changer for my confidence level, for everything, to just start realizing that I have this ability and then I can keep pushing it and pushing it to the next level.
So what's the secret sauce then? When you talk about start working on the mental stuff, like
Mhm.
where did you, there's I'm gonna try to say this in the nicest way
Mhm.
to not just to you, to everybody, but like there's a lot of people that just say, "Oh, I have the determination, I'll do that," and that motivation doesn't always get past the first the first hurdle,
No.
right? And then
Yeah.
you realize, oh, I need to actually have some mental tools and some
Mhm.
other tools to be able to get past this, because I see that all the time. It's like, oh, I'll just get through it with my grit and determination and motivation. I'm like, well, that's fine until you get like really knocked down a peg, and then
Yes.
what are you gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's just learning how to fail, like in the gym, and then knowing that's not the end. Like, you're still gonna come back the next week and try again, or you're still gonna keep adding more weight. So I think that was really the thing that determined that resilience, or that mental like fortitude, you would say. Like, just knowing that, okay, I missed 200 pounds today. Maybe it's because I was technically wrong, or I didn't eat enough that day, or whatever. My body's tired. But next week I might hit that 200 pounds, and then you just go from there. So, like you said, it's like some people, once they come with that a little adversity, they just fall back and like, I can't do this anymore. But
Well, it's hmm. There's a thought I've been brewing on it lately, trying to figure out, like, sometimes and it's not that big of a deal, like, is to understand it, that like sometimes when things are really, really easy for people, that the first time that hard thing hits, they don't have a memory bank of me getting over things.
right.
What is that when we talk about Paralympians?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there has to be a slightly different mindset, and like overcoming some struggles you might have had, and then applying that message to your sport. Am I way off, or is there a
No,
truth to that?
no, you're right on that. I think it's kind of like we already have that kind of built into us, whether it's somebody who's been in an accident and has to bounce back from that, somebody who's been sick their whole life and you're bouncing back from that. For me personally, it's like I was sick a lot as a kid and just getting through things, and I still graduated high school. I still went to college. So it's like I already kind of had that in the back, that push to keep going, even though I wasn't feeling good, or maybe I missed a week or two of school, but I still went back, made sure my assignments were done, and I graduated on time. I didn't fall behind or anything. So I think that translates over into sport, that if I was doing it then, I could still do it now, and it makes that success continue.
Yeah, I think that there has to be a mental tool that you use to tap into that. I don't know, like, say, hey, well, if I've done this, I can do this.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like that's how we build confidence, is like to say, oh, I've done this,
Hmm.
so I believe I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause when you're dealing with your health and real life stuff, it's so much scarier than like playing. Sometimes, like, thinking about playing a sport is more like, why am I scared? But it, yeah, it just takes a different thought process, or
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's a weird thing. It doesn't make it feel like it's as big a deal. Like, I
Hmm.
didn't hit 200 pounds today. That's fine. I'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
It's I'll just do it tomorrow or the next
Yeah.
day.
Hmm.
Yeah. So tell me some about, like, you talked about that progress being linear.
Hmm.
So talk to me about some of because you've been competing now for 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk to me about some of that, some of those ups and downs throughout, like specific examples in your career and what you've had to overcome with that.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs. In my career, let me see, I've had a shoulder injury right before, was it Tokyo? So that kind of threw me off. So just having that, going through injury, going through health issues or problems. So and then like taking that time off. So it's like say 3 years ago I was lifting 280 to 285, but then I took a whole year off because of health issues, and then getting back around right before the 2024 games and just kind of working back up. And then I had surgery early last year. So then it's like I always have like these things where I'm like I'm working up and then like something happens and I have to come back down, and so like now that I'm getting back to 275, 280, like I feel like I'm back to where I was a couple of years ago. But it's like if I didn't have these experiences, maybe I'd be a little bit farther along that path. But
Yeah.
you know,
As you throw those numbers out there, I can't help but I can't help but throw a number out there and say, is it like at some point do you like, man, I think I can get 300 pounds?
oh, absolutely. That's
I mean,
like
that's,
yeah.
is that like this pinnacle for you that like, if I could bench 300 pounds, that would be, yeah.
Yeah, if I
I mean,
can bench 300 pounds, I start being up in like the top, the topper area and start challenging for like a medal. So
what's your best finish so far?
in competition, it is wow, one, is it 112 kilos? 116 kilos,
Okay.
116 kilos. So that's two something.
Yeah, no, that's right. Where did that place you? Like, what was your best like
um,
competition? Where'd you end?
um, that put me. I don't know because there's no plate like right now we're not placed or ranked.
I
So
gotcha.
last year at the end of this season I was like 14th in the world.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
we're talking about like you're knocking on the top 10, right? Like
yeah,
you're working on that.
yeah.
No, I mean that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what's I know that you're also an entrepreneur, correct?
Yeah.
So talk to me, like run me through a day in the life, like of of what you do, because I'm curious
Mhm.
about the process.
Um, every day is so different. Business wise, it's been challenging over the last few years. Just so I guess my degree was in graphic design that I got. So I've been
Okay.
doing freelance graphic design for so many years, and now the challenge with AI and
Oh,
different
it's rough, right?
so many different things. People are just like, "Why I'm going to pay somebody to make a flyer for me when I can just type it in real quick and boom, they get a flyer." So the last few months, it's definitely a lot of pivoting and thinking of something
Yeah.
different or how to change my strategy. But like say today, like my family also owns a restaurant, a Jamaican restaurant. So like today I went with my mom and we do the shopping. We, make go to this location, make sure the change and everything is there, make sure everything looks good for the day. And I'm back here doing this interview
Yeah.
and I might work out later. And then I also run a vending machine business, which is a little more like not as intense. Like I'll just go like maybe once or twice a month and kind of make passive income to some degree.
Yeah.
So so it just depends on the day. Like there's just different things that you know.
Well, and that's what I'm finding about the Olympians and the Paralympians that I'm interviewing. It's like it's a daily grind though, in like working and then also fitting in your training. Like what's your now how often you train? What's that look like?
Right now I'm think it's 4 days a week
Okay.
because like the only downside of right now we kind of don't know where our next competition is going to be just because we were supposed to have one next month and it got canceled. So right now is just kind of shifting that mindset of not knowing, what we're training for or how we should prioritize things. So right now it's just 4 days a week, and we're just just training.
So what's interesting when you're like when you're powerlifting and you're only like every day is chest day, right?
To some degree.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, what's that look like whenever you've got when that's your lift and that's what you're
Right.
trying to do? Like, what
Hmm.
that changes things a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, we do break it up where there's days where I'm either lifting heavy, or you're doing like a variation of the lift, maybe a closer grip, a wider grip, maybe less weights but more reps. And then we do our accessory work where, your triceps, biceps,
Right,
shoulders, core, back. So it's broken up into, different days.
right.
Yeah.
Well, but then that means like how important is rest and recovery, and how do you like
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Like you can't. There's only so much training you can do that you're overtraining and you're doing too much. Like
right.
how do you how do you find that line?
Um, it's a very interesting line to find. It's a very interesting balance. Something that I continuously still work on because I'm very into working out, working out, working out, and then I'll skip my recovery or I won't prioritize it as much. But definitely, if I'm working out 4 days a week, I try to do 2 days training, 1 day off, 2 days, and then take the 2 days after that. So if I'm Monday, Tuesday, we're working out, Wednesdays off, Thursday, Friday training, and then take the weekend off type thing. So,
Okay.
and then just recovery at home, which sometimes can be tough because then I'm like, I don't want to stretch right now or do the extra stuff. I'd just rather go to bed, but then you wake up and then you're sore and
Right.
all that. So,
Right. Parents, is your athlete ready for the upcoming sports season? They might have the strength, the speed, and the skills, but without confidence, they can still struggle when the game is online. Skill and strength are great, they're necessary, but they're not used to their full potential without the right mentality. Confidence is key. It's the key to unlocking that full potential. And at Mental Mettle Coaching, I offer personalized sessions designed to build the confidence your athlete needs for a successful season. My proven techniques empower them to perform under pressure, both on the field and in life. Don't let a lack of confidence hold them back. Book a free session today and discover the power of confidence. Visit the website, get started on the journey to a more confident, successful athlete with Mental Mettle Coaching. Coaches, do you dream of guiding mentally tough athletes towards a championship? Kids that are resilient, persistent, and unshaken by setbacks. Well, in today's world, those athletes aren't born. They have to be developed. Many athletes face significant challenges and risk burnout. So how do we foster that mental toughness without overwhelming them? Well, introducing the Ember to Inferno program, Building Mentally Tough Athletes. This series is designed specifically for coaches, offering a deep dive into your own journey of mental toughness and equipping you with practical tools to build confidence and belief in your athletes. Rather than just simply adding more adversity to their life, we focus on creating a strong foundation for mental resilience. You'll learn how to transform a spark of motivation into a blazing fire of toughness, using techniques that address challenges like social media pressures, athletic stress, and trauma. Don't just wish for mentally tough athletes, build them. Join the Ember to Inferno program today and ignite the potential in your athletes. For more information, contact me, Coach Toman, at Mental Mettle Coaching. Well, I would think after 10 years, you start to figure out what works, what doesn't, what you can do, what you can't do. Yeah. So I always, I'd asked you on that form I sent you about like, where does your mental toughness come from? And you mentioned two things. You mentioned faith and sports psychology.
yeah.
Yeah. And I love that you gave both of those answers. And I'd like to dive into a little bit on that,
Mhm.
because if there's nothing else to take I mean, there's a lot to take from what you're doing, and it's commendable and everything. But the fact that I mean, anybody who sticks at a discipline and
Mhm.
keeps at it for 10 plus years, it's worth identifying. Well, how are you staying motivated? How are you
Mhm.
staying, how are you staying motivated? How are you staying mentally, you know, resilient? Because
Mhm.
there's so many ups and downs
Yeah,
and a lot of chances to just say I'm going to quit. I'm sure over the years, right? So
absolutely.
yeah, so talk to me about, let's talk about both. So let's talk about the faith first.
Mhm. So my faith, I grew up in the church. My parents are pastors. I a minister in my church, so that's very, close to my foundation. But that's what also helps me in those tough times, those down times that I know I can pray about it. I can read my Bible, and it gives me like inspiration or motivation. The biggest example I can give is like um, right before Paris, like I had like the worst season ever. Like I was missing a lot of my lifts in competition, and it's like the Lord would just keep speaking to me, like just keep going, just keep going, just keep pursuing this, And I'm thinking like nothing's gonna happen, and I still get that call. They're like, hey, a lift that you did in 2022 still qualifies you for the games, like even though this season was not good, your mark, you're still like in the top 10. So that kind of like just reinforced that, like my faith, and reinforced like, okay, I'm in the right place and I'm just going to keep going. And then sports psychology changed everything. Just finding confidence in myself and knowing that I can go out there and lift no matter if it's 10 people or 7,000, 10,000 people in the crowd, and just working every day on imagery, seeing myself being successful, or seeing if I do get a bad lift, how do I bounce back from that? I've had competitions where we get 3 attempts and I missed the first two, but I came back and got the last one. And it's like, by then, I should be defeated. But it's like taking each lift one at a time as they come. So working on that and just practicing it every day is really what helps. And it's not something that I figured out in 1, 2, 3 years.
That is, I love what you just said right there about
Yeah.
practicing it every day, because I think that
Hmm.
is probably the thing I try to get through to my clients more than anything is like you would never go to the gym one time and be
No.
like, "Oh, I'm good." No,
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh," and they know this intuitively. They're like, "Oh, I have
Hmm.
to keep working on my sport. I still have to go to the gym."
Hmm.
But we treat the mental aspect as like people might bring a speaker in to work with a team, and we're like, and they'll speak to them one time and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I think they're good." I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like
Hmm.
it is an everyday thing, just like everything else you're trying to do. It has to be scheduled, it has to be on purpose, it has to be
Hmm.
intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the big thing, the intentionality, because it's, it's, and I always tell people a lot of times, like, I feel like the mental training is a little bit more important than the physical. The physical to
I,
me is the easy part, so
it's more it's more cut and dried,
yeah.
right? It really is, because it's more, yeah, it really is. So where talk to me about what prompted you to say I want to work with a sports psychologist? Like, where did that come in? Because I think that's the other hurdle I have, is how getting people to be like, no, this is something you probably ought to be doing, working with a coach or a sports psychologist if you're really serious about it, because it can be
Mhm.
really, really helpful.
Honestly, for me, it was something that was offered from the team, so it wasn't really like something I sought after or thought that would work. So it was offered from the team, and I really took on to it immediately, and I saw that change in how I approached everything. So once I saw that, okay, this is a whole different level, and I want to get to that next level, it's something that I definitely need to continue. And so far I've just been continuing with it. So
Yeah. What I mean, there's having it be offered, and then there's probably people that don't accept it, right? It's
yes.
offered to everybody, and not everybody accepts it. So I think
Right.
that's kudos. Yeah. So kudos to you for doing it.
What's the like what's give me one or two of your like favorite sports psychology tools. Like what are the ones that you're like like this like you think that if somebody was listening is like I don't really know what this means by sports psychology.
Mhm.
What's the Ashley Dyce like this is what sports psychology is and here's what I use and this is a
Mhm.
great tool.
That's a good question.
I
So definitely imagery has been a great tool, kind of just preparing. Like I learned that even if you're thinking about a lift, like your whole body kind of reacts the same way, like as if you're on the podium. So that's definitely helped me just replay it over and over and over and over and over. So when I get out there, it just feels like another day at the gym. And then also managing like anxiety or flipping it to think of it as excitement
oh it's
or
such a
you know or using it as that momentum to push you to perform better instead of allowing it to distract you, because I've lived that life before where I literally would go on the bench and my hands are shaking, and like that's not fun. Yeah.
no and it doesn't I mean that's not how you get your best lifts either.
No, not at all.
No, not at
Mm-mm.
all.
Mm-mm.
I love that idea because I that's something I talk to clients about. I'm like, are you nervous? Like I'll ask them. I'm like, describe to me the difference between excited and nervous. And when they do
Mhm.
it, they're so similar.
Yeah.
And then I go, is there a difference or is it a label? Like, are
Mhm.
you labeling it? I'm nervous, or are you
Mhm.
labeling it excitement? And I don't want to say sports psychology is that simple, but
Mhm.
sometimes it is. It's
Yeah.
like just switching that label and being like,
Mhm.
no, this is excitement. This is activation energy. This is what I need, not versus I feel nervous.
Right.
Um, yeah, is that something that you felt a switch in when you were doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like once I kind of made that switch, like I'm excited to be here. I'm happy. I'm having fun. Like I'm privileged to be here. All those things. Like I started my performance, like started getting so much better, and I just started like, okay, every time I go, I'm just gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna have fun, because I would go and not talk to anybody and be in my head, and I'm like, no, like I'm gonna go be smiling if I want to be smiling, talk to my coaches, have a good time, and I see my performance is so much better. So.
Well, that was going to be my question. Is
Mhm.
like, what do you notice the difference in your performances,
Mhm.
before and after working with sports psychology, other than just how you
Yeah.
felt, right?
Just the confidence level, like I just notice, once I go out there to the bench, it's like I just treat it like a training session, and I just have that confidence like, okay, I'm gonna lift it, and I do my part, and if the judges say yay, then okay, we're going to the next one. If they say no, then I might still go on to the next one. It doesn't, like it doesn't matter. But yeah, it changed my whole, like, I guess like I say, confidence level. I'm not
Yeah.
like as timid or yeah.
When you were talking about imagery, you're talking about like visualization, right? Like
Yeah.
visual, yeah.
Mhm.
And I noticed another thing that you said that I love. It's not necessarily I mean, there is something to be said for visualizing the lift,
Mhm.
but you're talking about visualizing like the moments up to the lift. And I
Mhm.
think that I don't think athletes understand that that is just as, if not more important for
Mhm.
for lessening the anxiety and the worry because it's like I don't know it calms you it's a way to calm yourself where you might be nervous otherwise.
Mhm. Yeah. It gives you kind of like this, especially like it gives you like this kind of stability, I would say. Especially like a lot of time the competitions sometimes we're able to like see the venue beforehand or whatever. So that kind of just helps that visualization. Like, okay, I know I'm coming on the left side, and and then I put my wrist straps on, and then I'm gonna approach the bench on this side. So all those things help just ease that angst and worry, and just you just focus on the lift. So,
Yeah.
and
How
as long
well does that
as, huh?
how well does that work whenever you like show up for the Paralympics and in like Paris like that because that has to be another level of
because see, that
right?
was
I mean, there's only so much. I mean, you can do it, but it's also like this is a big deal.
yes, and that was like the biggest crowd I've ever been in front of, the biggest everything, right? So that was just like, I'm glad I had the preparation before, and then going to that moment, it was kind of like, and then like having a good coach at that time, and he was just like, hey, enjoy this moment. You're, when you go out there, it's gonna be a whole different level, but just enjoy it. And that
Yeah,
really helped me to just enjoy the whole process. I think, I got all my first two lifts. I missed my last one, but just the experience, just to be there, I was just like, this is amazing, and I'm just gonna
yeah.
enjoy the moment, and
That's. I mean,
soak it all in.
oh, it's
Yeah.
great, and I love what you were saying about faith, and I think sometimes I get a little pushback on that faith and psychology can absolutely go together. In fact,
Yeah.
I think they should go together. And so I love that I don't know, that you're able to use, hearing that, being in tune enough with God to listen to what he's saying and then have that be part of, your confidence on why you're there and what you're doing. And I think that there's no better way to have confidence than to have you feel like it's, this is where God told me I'm supposed to
Right.
be. Right. Like,
Yeah. Because I'm like, if he leads me here, then obviously he knows I'm capable and I can do this. So
how does that thought process then, I always find that thought process helps with the outcome, good or bad.
yeah. hmm
How do you see that with you?
mm, I think it's just having that mindset. I don't know, like I've come to this place where I'm like, no matter what my results are, like if I'm here, there's a reason, there's something bigger than just winning a medal or winning whatever. There might be a kid watching or somebody else with a disability that doesn't know that they
Yeah.
can do it, or another girl or whatever. Like, hey, she's doing that. She's from this little town in California, and she's on this big stage. So whether it's win or lose, I think, at the end of the day, I feel like it's still a win. So,
Yeah. So speaking of some kid watching or some girl watching, what's the you got into this because you saw a commercial, right?
yeah. hmm
Like what's your pitch to like some kid to be like, no, you should try this?
that's a good one. I don't
I'm
know.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's always, to me, it's just chasing your dreams or going beyond limits of where society puts you or thinks you should be. Um, Especially for women, for people with disabilities. I should not be out there lifting, a lot of weight. So it's kind of just being that example of like, hey, I can do this. I've overcome a lot, and I can still go out there and perform and represent my country and all that, and you can do it too, basically. So
I know I love following you on Instagram because man, you're putting up some weight and it's fun to watch. It's just it's impressive and it's inspiring. So
thank you.
um so what's next? What are we training for?
Right now we're not sure. We're just
Okay.
waiting. We're waiting to hear what the next place would be. But for sure, I know next year we have World Championships. We have them
Okay.
every other year. So next year's World Championships, and then after that would be LA 28. So
LA 28.
so.
So got your sights set on that is, I mean,
hmm
yeah,
hmm
outstanding. Okay. Ashley, we're running out of time here. Last question.
Okay.
I always ask this last question to everybody. Okay. What's the question I didn't ask you that I should have? What's the yeah, so what's the question you thought, oh, I thought he was gonna ask this and he didn't?
Mm, that's a good question. I
It's
don't
my
know.
favorite question. Because then it gives you
See
the
how
opportunity. If there was something that you wanted to talk about, we talk about it. And if you don't have something, that's fine. But I'm just curious. Anything I missed in the interview?
Not that I could think of. No, I
Okay.
think it was great. You asked all the
Well, I
questions.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. You've been fantastic to talk to. This is great. I wish you all the success.
Thank you.
I mean, your attitude, the way you're handling things, and the way you go for it it's not a, I mean, it's not a surprise that you're having success because you're doing so many of the things in the right way, and I just commend you for that. And I listen. I'm not gonna. I don't want to put pressure on you, Ashley, but I am pretty excited. I hope that you can hit that 300, just because that would be like, that would be awesome. I mean, it just would. So
Yeah.
it's
That's my
fantastic.
goal. That's my goal for at
Oh,
least by the end of the year. That's my goal. So,
oh, that's your goal by the end of the year.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will definitely be watching you, and to anybody else who wants to follow Ashley's journey, I'm going to drop your Instagram page. You're a great follow. It's inspiring. You're always putting out new content. So I'm gonna put your stuff out there so people can follow it, and I suggest that they do, because it's fantastic. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
All right.
it.
Oh, you bet. Ashley, it's been great talking to you.
Thank you for having
If you
me.
are a parent
You
of an
bet.
athlete, I want you to hear this. You are already your kid's most powerful mental performance coach. It's not me. It's not their strength coach. It's not their varsity coach. It's you. The way you talk in the minivan, at the dinner table, and after games is literally wiring your athlete's brain for either confidence or anxiety. That is a lot of pressure, and it's kind of daunting. And that's why I created my free email course called the Resilient Parents Playbook. In it, I walk you through the 5 most common mistakes we make as sports parents, and I give you simple, practical tools to fix them. You'll learn how to praise effort and attitude instead of just results, how to handle the car ride home, and how to help your kid manage nerves and pressure in a healthy way. It's completely free. Just hit the link in the show notes and grab the Resilient Parents Playbook and start becoming the kind of mental coach your athlete actually needs at home. So what's your thing? What's your lane? What are you going to do? What do you want to work on? What do you want to get better at? Where is your choice? Like, what are you going to say? This is what I'm going to be good at. And I know that in life we get thrown curveballs and we can change plans. And the old expression, man plans, God laughs. I get all that, but I don't think that's a reason not to have it. And I think that if listening to Ashley does nothing else, it says, hey, if I choose my lane and I say, this is what I'm going to be good at, this is what I'm going to work on, you will get better at it. But you have to make that decision. And don't tell me, like, when we talk about those curveballs and things happening and getting in your way, Ashley does not let that stop her. Like, she has, a serious disability that she does not let stop her. And she is just, when you talk to Ashley, she's just so fun to talk to and full of life. And I follow her on socials, and it's just good to see, like she doesn't let things stop her. She's like, this is what I'm going to be good at. I'm going to keep working on it. And I think that is the lesson for you is, first of all, it's a decision. What's my decision? Like, what do I want to be good at? And if that's what I want to be good at, then what do I need to sacrifice to get there? Like, how am I going to make sure that this is a priority for me? How do I focus on this? And Ashley does other things as well. Her faith is important. Her family is important. She works, she does these things, but she doesn't let outside things happen and uncontrollables keep her from do her training. And she gets hurt. She has all these things, but she just resets, and she talks about how progress isn't linear. It's up and down and up and down, and it doesn't matter. She just keeps at it. And but I think that is the first decision or first question you have to ask yourself is, what's my thing? What am I going to work at? And if that's what I'm going to work at, then go do it. Then do it. And know that it's going to take time, know that it's going to take effort, know that it's going to take sacrifice, but you have to choose what you want to do and just say that this is my mindset. When people talk about having that perfect mindset for an athletic endeavor, and they say, well, you kind of develop, I could never do that because I'm not mentally tough enough, or I don't have enough perseverance, or every time I try this, I quit. And I've tried so many times to try this, or it's just something's in my way. Well, you don't develop that mindset without work, and there has to be the failure there. So if you say, hey, I want to be perseverant, but I'm not, well, you don't gain perseverance by just saying that. You go develop it. You just say, I'm going to be perseverant. And then you just start doing it. And it's a little bit like that. It's so much of it is just a decision. And then just over time, you just get better at it. And it's not just the actual thing that you get better at, like the lifting for her, but it's your ability to be perseverant and just have this determination. You get better at that as well. They go together. And so as you start to develop your mental tools, your physical tools go along with it. And they kind of go, I don't know that you get one before the other. I think you get both. I think as you start to get better at something physically, then the mentally starts develop as well. But again, they have to be intentional. You have to say, this is what I'm going to be good at. This is how I'm going to get better at it through this determination, this schedule, and all these things, and sticking to it, knowing that you're not going to be good at it at first, but you're going to continue to get better at it. And it's what I see with Ashley. It doesn't man, it's amazing. She just, the amount of absolute weight she can move and the progress she's made over 10 years. It makes me think, what could I have been that good at if I'd have stuck with it as much as she does? And it kind of gives you, it's that inspiration that you get from somebody like Ashley that has just so focused on it. And it makes you think, man, I should be finding what I want to work on and keep doing it. So that's, I think that's the lesson here from Ashley, is just don't make a decision, stick with it, and just start working. And don't let excuses and uncontrollables knock you down. Just dig in it. Just go. And that's, I love it. I love talking with Ashley and all the Olympians that I work with, but this was the first Paralympian I've worked with. And it was, man, it's a lot to learn from somebody like Ashley. So if you want to go back, I've had other Olympians on the show, several of them. I've been interviewing a lot of Olympians because I got hooked up with Shane Fisher of the American Paragons. Their link is in the show, and he created this foundation to support underfunded Olympians of all sports. And I've had several on the podcast. This was the first Paralympian, but which is, I'm absolutely underfunded, just like most of the Olympians in the United States are. So check out his link, look into it. He does so many things, and check out the old episodes I've got with several Olympians. They're really good. I love listening to the Olympians because they don't see mentality and mental tools and mental training as a maybe. It's a must. It's a must. They're like, I can't be my best and I can't do what I need to do if I'm not working on my mental tools. So that's really been a really big boost for me as I work with athletes of younger ages that aren't, Olympian level, to say, hey, listen, Olympians do this. You can do this. This is such a simple thing you can do, is start working on your mental toughness through doing drills and coaching techniques. Like, you should definitely be doing this, because people that rely on it for their job and their, professional level that they're doing things. It's a no-brainer for them. So check it out. Check out some of the old episodes. And if you ever have interest in upping your mental training game, that's what I'm here for. Get a hold of me, Coach Tolman. I can talk to you about my mental performance training program I do for student athletes. It's so much fun to work with an athlete, get a hold of a parent, and they say, hey, look, we know we're struggling mentally and we're not being our best on the court, which also means we're not being as good as we can off the court. And I always say that, I always ask the question, how much mental training have you done? And if you say, well, really none, then I'm like, we're going to see so much progress in a hurry, because it's like, if we talk about benching, if you've never benched before, it's not going to be very good. But you get a lot of progress early on because you figure out the form, your muscles get used to it, and you just have a lot of progress early. And that's what we see. It's the same kind of idea. When we start with that mental performance training, you're going to see some pretty good gains early on because it's something you've never done. And that learning curve is good at first. And we gain a lot of progress, and I see the same thing. So get a hold of me. I'd love to talk to you about it. But for now, we're out of time. So this has been the Mental Mettle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Matt Tone, and always remember to forge your mettle. Thanks for listening to the Mental Mettle Podcast. Don't forget to tune in every week for more insights and strategies to help you forge mental toughness and resilience. This podcast is brought to you by Mental Mettle Coaching, where we are driven by a passion for sharing knowledge and experience that empowers others to play, live, and grow with confidence. Our mission is to instill a resilient and spirited mindset in our clients, enabling them to confidently face adversity and actively seek new challenges for personal growth. At Mental Mettle Coaching, we offer individual coaching, group coaching, and professional development for schools and businesses. Whether you're an athlete, educator, or professional, we're here to help you unlock your potential and thrive in every area of life. Until next time, keep growing, stay resilient, and always remember to forge your mettle.